now we're all ready for spraying. What I want to do with this particular step-by-step is not only to sort of spray this up, but I want to actually throw in a bunch of like troubleshooting, airbrush troubleshooting as we go along and as we come across things. So should be a nice couple of troubleshooting on airbrush. So let's just get started now before we even sort of actually start spraying. The one sort of big troubleshooter out there, which is pretty much, you know, going to be most people's problems. I mean, everyone I talk to and everything, you know, the first problem is cleaning your airbrush, right? And I know that sounds kind of basic, and I know that you know, it's probably the first thing to think of, but not only is it a case of clean your airbrush, it's cleaning your airbrush properly. So let's sort of, you know, break this down a little bit, right? I mean, clean your airbrush, yes, we can go along, we can break it down to all its components, we can clean it all, but in all honesty, it's not that necessary. I mean, I probably maybe every 3 months strip down my airbrush and thoroughly clean it, right? Because really most of the parts on an airbrush can sort of get in a little bit dirty. Most parts don't really get that dirty. Really the crucial thing when it comes to an airbrush and cleaning it is 2 parts, and 2 parts really that are going to be your main problems, your main culprits, that's going to do all sorts of things like having sort of blockages, you know, not having a feathered spray pattern, spitting, all those kind of things, not being able to get your biting point to like do close-in work, right? It's going to be these 2 parts. The first part, right, is going to be the nozzle, right? This is going to be the main thing, right? So whenever I sort of generally start a big sort of spray job like we're doing now, you know, clean these 2 parts. The second one, right, is your needle, right? These 2 parts, right, is it's the tip, the point at which, you know, we spray the paint out. This is where you're going to have the majority of your problems, right? We are I mean, this airbrush is a 0.4 mil, right? That is a very small sort of diameter there. You know, my infinity here, 0.15 mil, right? This is a very precise sort of instrument, shall we say, and you know, any sort of build-up of paint on any of these 2 areas could really sort of affect your spray pattern, give you all sorts of problems, right? Now I'm not saying don't strip down your airbrush completely and clean it, you know, go ahead, right? But these are the 2 that I generally concentrate on, and as I say, I sort of do a full strip every couple of months sort of thing. So with these, again, we need to clean them properly. Also need to check them, make sure that we have no problems with them. They are very minute, they are a bit hard to see and see if we've got a problem. iPhones, I generally sort of get my iPhone out, turn it to camera mode and zoom in, and you can get nice and close and be able to see your needle. I've got a camera here, I can get in really sort of close, right, and blow this needle up, and I can actually kind of try and see, you know, what problems we've got. A good little tip is to feel for any sort of kinks on the tip of the needle. So like, I will get a kitchen paper towel and I'll just sort of roll it, sort of spin it, right? And what you're feeling for, you're just feeling for that light. You don't have to look really, you just kind of feel for that light sort of tugging of the kitchen paper towel, and if you can feel that, then you've probably got maybe a bit of a hook going on with your needle. And if you do have that problem, good one, what's this, we've got Sharpen Air, right? Really good company. Basically this sort of sharpens your the end of your needle up, and it sort of gets it all nice, right? Now as for cleaning, now when it's cleaning, it's looks quite easy to clean an airbrush, right? We can get out lacquer base thinners. Here we have Mr. Hobby's self-leveling thinners, right? Bit of a kitchen paper towel, pour it in, right? And yes, we can clean it. I mean, sadly, I've already sort of cleaned this recently, so I mean, we ain't going to really see any dirt. But no, not only have we just sort of cleaned it, it looks clean. What I like to do, right, now and then, as another sort of tip and troubleshooting, I've got some, here we go. We've got this is, I mean, anything really. Just think buffing a canopy, right? Making your canopies shiny. This is really just some cheap sort of nail type foils. And what we can do with this, right, we don't want to be using anything stronger than like what you would do buffing up and polishing and shining up a canopy. But what I like to do is just now and then I'll take this and I'll spin, right, I'll spin the actual needle across these and sort of work my way through, you know, from buffing it and working our way down to like a really sort of nice shine finish. Right, as much as this might seem like it's not doing anything, you've got to kind of imagine that if you've got a rough needle, right, the likelihood of paint starting to grip to the rough end of your needle is more so, and so you can have build up of paint and, you know, have problems quicker and faster. Whereas if you've kind of like just give the end of your needle just a quick sort of like buffing, it makes it more smoother and streamlined to, you know, atomize and just spurt off the end of the needle a lot better and a lot easier, right? So that's the needle, right? The nozzle, on the other hand, this is you know, a little bit more tricky.